Welcome everyone, my name's Christine. I'm here to share some of the things that I've learned about teaching division with you, and hopefully you may be able to use something there and tweak your teaching as well. So I want to just share one model that I use a lot, and that's of a box. If you've got little kids, you can put counters in there and then they can share them equally into two groups. If you use 10 frames, that's great as well. Oopsies. And when you draw the 7 or the 14, you can do 5 and then 2 more. But if I represent it as 5 and 2 more this way, you can definitely see that I have 10 plus 4, that's 14, and here is my group of 7, my two groups of 7. So in the beginning, that's a model that you could use. When you get into higher numbers, for example, if you've got 32 and you want to say halve 32, what is 50% of 32? What is 50% of 14? 7. What is a half of 14? 7. So if I was trying to divide 32 in half, I might be confused, as the kids often struggle because the 3 is an odd number. They can do even numbers, but they struggle with the odd numbers. So I'm going to suggest that perhaps you think of 32, what's friendly to you? You may say, well, it's 20 plus 12. So when I divide that into 2, what's a half of 20? 10. What's a half of 12? 6. So a half of 32 is 16. And it doesn't matter what number you've got, it's always a lovely strategy that you can use. For example, if I was going to do 98 divided by 2, so 98 divided by 2, half of 98, what's a half of 98? But if I thought of it as 100 take away 2, I could think of it like that. 98 is 100 take away 2, and I have to just halve each of those because I'm sharing them equally. So then I'd have 50 take away 1, which is 49. You could have done 98 is 80 plus 18, and if I had have halved each of those, I would have got 40 plus 9 to get me 49 as well. So it doesn't matter which way you go about halving. Here's some different ideas that perhaps you can use in your classroom to show that. I'll be back in a minute and we'll do dividing by 10. So let's look at one that I use all the time with my students, which is 25 divided by 10. So my language is never about put a 0, add a 0 or anything like that. Adding 0 does actually nothing to a number. So 5 plus 0 is still 5. So adding 0 doesn't change its value. The problem with putting a 0, the students will get mucked up if I say 18.5 times 10. I get all sorts of weird and wonderful answers because they're trying to put the 0 somewhere. So I want that understanding of place value. So I do that, and this is one of the few times that I will actually draw pizzas for the students. And I'll draw 25 pizzas to share between 10 people. And I will give them the texter, so we'll do this on a whiteboard. I'll give them the texter and I'll say, have I got enough to give one pizza to each person? Yes, I do. Can I give them another pizza? Yep, I can. And they'll put some more numbers in there. Person 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, can I give them another pizza? And they'll go, no, but I can cut it in half, miss. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So they know that 25 divided by 10 is 2.5 pizzas. Person 1 got 2.5 pizzas, person 2 got 2.5 pizzas, and so on. But how does that actually become a decimal? I have to redraw these last 5 pizzas, and this is why I always draw rectangles. So I've now drawn each of these pizzas as a rectangle, and I will break them into 10 pieces. And I will say all of these pizzas are different flavours, and everybody wants to try every flavour. So I'm not going to just give person one just from pizza one and so on like that. So what I am going to do is that person 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, they're each going to get a piece from that pizza. They're each going to get a piece from this pizza, from this pizza, from this pizza, and from this pizza. And then you actually need to say to them, okay, so person 1 got how many pieces? They got 5 pieces. And how big was each of those pieces? Oh, well, let's look at the whole pizza. It's actually a tenth. How do I write 5/10? That's how I write 5/10. So actually 2.5 pizzas is 2.5. And I'll demo that with the slider, and you'll see how the place value slides. The decimal point always remains between the ones and the tenths, and how that place value slides. If you'd like to have a challenge of your own, have a go at $17.50 divided by 10. So that's finding 10% of a number, right? Dividing by 10 is a critical skill to be able to have to understand place value, because that's what it's about. 10 of these makes one of those, or one of those is 10 of those. So it's an important skill.
So here is my sharing is caring board. So once you've done some activities with students about, sharing and, doing, circles and groups and so on, this board is designed to structure how students learn about division in a way that mimics the short division that you're actually looking for them to do and to be able to do at a later stage. So you can see here the green represents the total to be shared. And you can see on the outside here I have little people. So that represents how many groups to share between, and the number across the top is the actual share that they will get. So for example, if you were asking students to tell me a story about 15 shared between 3, or 15 how many 3s, they might say, if we're looking at groups, I've got 3 friends, I've got 15 lollies to share between 3 friends, how many lollies will they each get? So you can use counters or beans or whatever you want. So I've got 3 friends, here we go, they each get 1 lolly, they each get 2 lollies, 3 lollies, 4 lollies, and 5 lollies. And there I've used 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. So if you've got 15 counters, the students can move that into place there. If I had 15 lollies and I was giving my friends 3 lollies each, how many friends could I give that to? We can model that one. We can model that one with each person's going to get 3 lollies. So person 1, person 2, person 3, person 4, and person 5. So again, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. So it doesn't matter which way you're going to go, you can start to see that array structure of 3 5s or 5 3s are 15. All right. The whole thing with division is, if you've got 3 times 5 equals 15, right? And 5 times 3 equals 15. When you go to say 15 divided by 5, is it coming from the number of groups, or is it coming from the size of the share? You don't know that. All right, so that's what makes division tricky. So it actually, and it doesn't matter because the answer either way is still 3. Okay, so we often use how many, but when I'm talking about groups, it's a how many. When I'm talking about the size of the unit, it's a share. So that's my Sharing is Caring board. I will put a link to how to download it below. I've got here across the top, you can see 15 lollies shared between 3 people means that they each get 5. If I've got 15 lollies, each person gets 5 lollies. I can do it with 3 people. So you can also use that to scaffold